welcome to Back Issues himself.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Let's really mix things up. Let's shake up this show. Huh?
Make it like a British nanny.
Oh my God, what a timely reference.
Taking it
Straight from
back
the headlines
20
over here at
years. I mean, this book is going back like 60 years or
How
some
dare you?
shit. So.
Oh, yes. You mean my Batman from the 30s to the 70s library book that my mom took out for me
I don't understand what's happening.
in 1993?
Well, how do you still have it?
They owe a lot of money in late
We
fees.
never returned it.
You must owe thousands of dollars for this book.
I don't think the library exists anymore. I think it closed. Probably because of people like me.
Yeah.
I was a child. I was a little boy. I didn't check this book out. My mommy checked this out, all right?
It's her fault.
That's her fault. That's her fine.
Amazing.
This book, by the way, is still in print, and it's available in the comments down below if you ever want to get a copy of Batman from the 30s to the 70s. But let me tell you something. A lot of my Bat knowledge comes from this book that did not come with that cover. That cover was shredded and destroyed years before I got a hand on it in 1993. So it just looks like some random library book. But I've been reading Batman from the 30s to the 70s my entire life. And so one of the stories that I wanted to cover was Batman, the Joker's 5-Way Revenge by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams.
Oh.
And I thought, this is too short. I was rereading. I'm like, this is kind of short.
For back issues?
And so I thought, well, we could do another fun, shorter Joker story, but which one do we do? How about the first Joker story ever? From Batman #1 in 1940. Oh, I have a copy of it in my book, Batman from the 30s to the 70s.
There's a bibliography in the back of this thing.
It oughta. It's a book that cites other books.
Did you say the first appearance of the Joker was 1940?
That is what I'm saying to you, yes.
The Joker debuted in the middle of World War II?
Yeah, Batman debuted 1 year prior to that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
It's actually interesting. It's why a lot of like key comic books that you find in the wild or in the collector's market are typically Marvel books because they started sooner than the DC stuff. Like, oh man, I want a first appearance of Black Cat. Well, you gotta go back to the 70s. No problem. But I want a first Catwoman. Oh, well, no problem. That book came out in 1940. So we'll just find a copy of that. Oh wait,
it's dust.
Yes. It's either destroyed or already thousands of dollars. So it's like, it's impossible. Also, Catwoman did debut in the same issue as Joker, so it's like, already, it's like, I have a friend who loves the Spider-Man villain Cardiac. Huge Cardiac fan. A character that may never appear on this show, ever. And his first appearance is also the first appearance of Carnage. So, thankfully, he already procured a copy of the first appearance of Cardiac.
Oh, well, lucky him.
Yeah.
Because some people would be like, oh, all I want is Cardiac. Oh, well, that'll be $5,000.
It's still the same price.
Sorry, he's bundled with this other more popular character.
Yeah, we don't care what your intent is. No, I'm not going to read the Carnage part. I only care about the Cardiac part. Sorry. Well, you're still going to have to pay Carnage prices for Cardiac books. Similarly, it's like, oh man, well, the fact is, a first appearance of Catwoman is probably going to be only slightly less expensive than a first appearance of Joker.
Right, it would be like the next one.
Exactly.
After Joker in popularity.
Yeah.
Or close to it.
Exactly. We're going to talk about a Golden Age book on this show.
Wow.
We've never done that.
We've never done that?
We've never covered a Golden Age comic book. And a seminal one at that. Of course, its appearance is complicated, and because it's been a while, and so all the stories and reports about the Joker's formation have been, recorded, but long after the fact, and even then it was by people who have vested interests in already having invented the Joker. It's not like, oh yeah, I invented the Joker. Someone was interviewed about inventing the Joker in 1941, and so they were like, oh, I'll be happy to be candid and honest about that. No, by the time people actually bothered to ask, the Joker's already become an icon. It's already over. So I gotta make sure it's mine. And there's 3 people who are like, I invented the Joker. And one of them we can trust didn't, and that's Bob Kane, the creator of Batman. Because Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, is an egomaniac who has, I would love to show you his tombstone. Because his tombstone represents the man so much. It has like a Batman logo built into it, and it says, the man who invented Batman. Like, Bob Kane wants you to know that he invented Batman even from beyond the grave. And the irony is, of course...
Honey, what about our family? Don't you want any reference of us on there?
Why would I bother with that? They are made of bone and dust. Batman is forever.
By the way, there will be no money left to the children. It all goes into a fund to maintain...
That I invented Batman.
Yeah, that tombstone is going to be in perpetuity
Yes.
for all time. The next 100,000 years is all I could procure the funds for, but,
Yeah.
hopefully someone will pick up the legacy after that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that by that point, I will already have become like unto a god. So either I will be resurrected through technology, or there'll be some kind of an outfit that will carry on my legacy for me.
Oh, we'll have that gun that brings people back from the dead.
Yeah.
Like when Bart thinks that's going to happen, when he
Yeah.
writes his name in concrete.
That's right. Let's bring it back using technology. So Bob Kane, creator of Batman, ironically invented only the stuff that is the most obvious and stolen from other things. And Bill Finger, who is his collaborator, invented all the things you like about Batman. But there is still some dispute. It'd be easy to just go, oh, Bill Finger invented them. Because Bill Finger made all the things you like about Batman.
Right. But there's a third guy.
But there's a third guy, and it's the artist on the first appearance of Joker. Now, Bill Finger has a lot of credit to explain why he may have invented the Joker. He was heavily inspired by the 1920s German film The Man Who Laughs, and if you look at that movie, the titular character looks exactly like the Joker. And so it's like, right. And he was very inspired by that movie and had the ideas that Bill Finger invented the Joker by homaging this German impressionist movie about like a guy who has a permanent smile on his face and has seemingly bleached skin. Like, it's the Joker.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
And he laughs.
And he laughs, yeah. No, and it's tragic and sad. And so it's like, yeah, you just put it in, but also he fights Batman. Now, of course, Batman first appears in Detective Comics number 27 in 1939. And it's weird because Batman's first appearance is essentially just like, here's something. He's called the Batman, hyphen, 2 names. There's a scheme going on. Batman shows up. He punches somebody. They die. And then he's like, that's right. And then it goes back to Bruce Wayne's house. And like, I bet you'd be surprised to know that guy that was also in the book, Bruce Wayne, is Batman. And it's like, I guess,
yeah.
It's like, these are the stories, folks.
I mean, from our perspective, I'm more surprised he killed a man.
Yeah, Batman did a lot. Because back then, I mean, when they're coming up with this stuff,
there was no history.
There's no history. Well, there's also no inspiration to make villains. Like, the reason you're buying it is because we just put a dude in a effing bat costume. We're not going to distract you from there being some kind of other colorful bad guy.
No, that is the allure. The allure is this crazy person.
Well, no. Originally, the allure is just Batman. And they're like, well, anything else would distract. And then it wasn't until they started whipping up characters like Catwoman and Joker, and even Catwoman didn't even dress like a cat.
No,
She
but
was just a
Batman
lady.
is the crazy person.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. We're just watching this lunatic.
Yeah.
No, that's
Was he portrayed as
I'm gonna
crazy
stop
though?
regular
No.
crime. These people are gonna rob a bank.
Right. It was never that cut and dry. When Batman first appears...
What did he even do?
What did he even do, indeed? Okay, so the first appearance of Batman, Detective 27, Bruce Wayne is in Commissioner Gordon's house, and they're just talking. And they're friends, because Commissioner Gordon is commissioner of a large metropolitan area, and Bruce Wayne is a socialite. And apparently in the 30s, everything was really cool and open and free, so like when Commissioner Gordon got tips about a big crime or about a murder,
He could
was
tell
like,
anybody.
he would just be like, oh, you want to come with me? And Bruce Wayne's like, yeah, all right. So Bruce Wayne gets in the car with Commissioner Gordon and goes to a murder scene. There's been a murder here. Make sure nobody gets in here. No press. Oh, I'm sorry, but millionaire socialite. Who knows if he was a millionaire at that point? Thousandaire socialite. Bruce Wayne wants to go see a body. Let's bring him in. I don't know.
You want to see the crime scene? There's no reason to go there, but okay.
Right, exactly. It's all the fun stuff is already over. I mean, like, you're just going to see a dead guy, which admittedly is kind of fun, but like once you've seen 1,000, you've seen them all.
Right.
And so the idea is that like...
I mean, the photos are in the paper anyway. You see that stuff.
Right?
You're
Oh, yeah, we
seeing it
print that
live
stuff.
instead of, in black and white.
Yeah, you want to touch him? Looks what happens when I step on his abdomen. So anyway, this dude, he gets murdered, and they think the son did it because the son had his fingerprints on the knife that killed the man. Oh. And then the son is like, I didn't. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, I pulled the knife out of him. And they're
all
like,
the prints are on it.
Right, and they're like, oh, okay. Oh, well, then who do you think did it? And I'm like, okay. Clearly, Kane, Finger, everyone involved, they're not exactly like criminologists here.
This is 1939. They're all sitting around just going, and then this happens. Yeah, see?
It feels like
How does crime work? There's fingerprints, and what if the police made a mistake?
Yes.
And they assumed that the fingerprints,
Right.
that were there must have been for the murder. But what if it was from somebody who was merely trying to help? Oh my God!
Whoa! You just filled in one other panel of this story.
Well, it would be quite the scandal as well.
It's
that
true.
Police just
screwing things up left and right, but they always do.
Please tell me it was the son, though.
It was not. No,
Oh.
because what you see is what you get in a Batman comic in the 1940s. But
Damn.
also, Bill Finger was like, I'm an auteur. Excuse me. So it's never just like a dude murders a guy and then the Batman shows up and kills them. That would be like a Bob Kane Batman story. But Bill Finger's like, whoa, it can't be that obvious.
There has to be intrigue.
Yes. So the father, before he dies, says, the contracts, and then he dies. And the safe that he has been opened and a contract has been taken out of it. And so Batman finds out that the father was a businessman who owned a chemical company who had business dealings with like 3 or 4 other guys, and they each signed a secret contract with each other. And you see what I mean? And so it's like, what?
What?
And so Batman goes to like all the houses of all the names of the people whose names are on the contract.
Right.
And then when he visits them, they're getting bumped off as well until we finally get to like one guy who wanted to, oh God, it's so complicated. And in one panel, he's just like, when he explains it all, like he's just
Right.
like, I wanted to get, I was cash poor and I was on the hook to own the company and buy them all out. And so we all signed this like contract that would be the deal, but if I killed all of them, then I could inherit the business and not have to pay them for it.
Right.
And so that's his scheme. And then Batman punches it into an open vat of acid and he dies. And they're like, he freaking died! And Batman goes, a fitting end for his kind. I'm like, yeah, I guess you win some, you lose some. And that guy, he's just bones.
Look, he murdered 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
I only murdered 1 person.
I killed no one. I just didn't save him. I punched him, and as you can see, he was so heavy he broke the banister that existed, the safety banister. If
I blame
anyone killed
OSHA.
him, if anybody killed him, it's OSHA.
Well, I mean, he killed himself the minute he killed someone else and forced me to punch him.
That's right.
It's really his fault.
Yeah.
He set off the
himself.
chain of events.
That's right.
That
Over
inextricably
years
led
of
here.
having steak and potatoes
Well,
every morning. for
Yeah, that's right. He was too heavy,
The seeds of his death were sown decades ago. None of us could be held responsible for what happened here today.
I
Who's
defy
hungry?
you. Let's go. So Batman leaves.
he was dead the day he was born.
Yes. So we see that,
Well, it's a deterministic universe. None of us has any free will.
well, what the hell are you dressing up like a bat for? And getting involved.
I like it.
So this is Batman, by the way. This is what he looks like. He's got little short ears,
Yeah.
purple gloves.
It's horrible.
That end of the wrist. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much fully formed. Like, that's Batman.
Like, he's got the logo on the chest. He has the yellow belt, underwear on the
Yep.
outside.
Gray bodysuit.
The
blue
purple
cape
gloves,
and
though, we got rid of
shorts.
those. We don't
Yes.
have the purple gloves anymore.
That's right. Scott Snyder brought them back in 0 year.
Are there any characters in here besides Commissioner Gordon that we're familiar with? Or?
Nope.
Okay.
It's Batman, it's Commissioner Gordon. First issue that introduces Batman, Commissioner Gordon, and I guess his mission, which is very flimsy and simple.
Yeah.
We didn't get
And-
the origin until later.
And, of course, the ironclad, never-changing fact that Batman kills people.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. It will never contradictorily become his like basic tenet of his character.
Interesting. There's nothing about the parents, so we don't know who Batman is.
We just know it's we introduce him at the end, where it's like Bruce Wayne goes to his house and he goes into the room, and I bet you'd be surprised to see that when he comes out, he's Batman. Oh, you didn't see that coming? I'm like, well, there's literally 2 other characters in this book, and like one of them's dead. So I'm guessing it's him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible he wasn't, but like, not that shocked.
Right, but why would you introduce me to Bruce Wayne if you weren't also going to make a Batman? We get Batman number 1 in 1940, which also introduces you to the legend of Batman. This is what Batman's origin is, and you're like, oh, okay. And it's like, it's exactly the same. A dude shoots a couple in the alleyway, leaving the child orphaned. He's so upset that he dedicates his life to science and physicality and criminology, and then becomes Batman.
Well, we'll remove the hyphen and it'll be Batman.
That's right. That's right. And I find that funny because they really didn't hang on to that bat-man thing. But Stan Lee would then borrow it, not unlike Bob Kane borrowing literally everything in his career, and use it on Spider-Man.
And Bob Kane's name is on the very first.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Don't forget,
Yeah.
Nah, you're not gonna forget.
And in fact, Stan Lee and Bob Kane were kind of friends, which is of course like, yeah. and I remember Stan talking about knowing Bob Kane. He's like, in practically every conversation we ever had, he would remind me he invented Batman. Like he was just making sure that everybody understood.
Back when I invented the Batman.
Right, or like, don't forget Stan. Here's a little doodle of Batman for you. Because I invented him.
And don't forget, I take my coffee with cream and sugar. And I invented Batman.
Yeah, I get it, Bob. Thank you.
Hey, does that new automobile come with a third row seat? I deserve a third row seat because I invented Batman.
Yeah, and in fact, that worked.
Like every freaking conversation.
People who don't know anything about comic books or Batman probably know that Bob Kane invented Batman, or at least they did up until a point where people kind of checked out. But so yeah, the first appearance of Joker is in the first Batman comic book, which is kind of awesome. It's like, wow, what a smart move. But even then, they were like, here's this, and they're just trying stuff. And in fact, within the first issue, they introduce Joker. Joker is defeated. He goes to jail. A couple other random stories are in that book. And then Joker breaks out of jail in chronology 2 days later. And then they kill him. Because Bill Finger is like, I don't want to get attached to these characters. These characters are supposed to be done in one disposal. Like, it's weird that we saved him in the first story.
It's bizarre that we have Batman this long.
Right, exactly. Like, well, shouldn't we be moving on? And so the editors, even then, were like, no. You did not kill Joker. And in that story, by the way, Joker literally does all the same shit he does in his first appearance, and then when he tries to kill Batman, he breaks out a knife, and in an awkward display of physicality, Joker accidentally stabs himself in the chest, and then Batman's like, and he's dead, like all my villains. And so they take him away in an ambulance, and then literally there's like 2 panels where some doctors go, he's not dead! And that's it. And you're just like,
Does he wake up laughing?
He dies laughing.
Oh.
But he just, no, he doesn't wake up at all. It's like when Duke went into a coma in the G.I. Joe movie.
Okay, fair.
Where he says goodbye to everyone and then falls into a coma, and someone off camera goes, he fell into a coma.
Yep.
And then they take him away and everyone's crying, because he's in a coma. So it is with Joker when he superficially stabbed himself in the heart with a dagger. But let's get into the first appearance of Joker.
You're right.
Because if you keep going, you will be stuck reading random Batman stories that will be randomly significant, like the introduction of the Red Hood, which I was intimately familiar with because I read this stupid book as a child 1,000 times. And by the way, be careful with these pages because they're really old.
Yeah.
And it's not really worth much, but I've had it for 30 years.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's going to be very hard to steal another copy.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to order one with money like a chump.
All right, so the first appearance of the Joker.
Yes, the first appearance of Joker is...
Is that this?
Yep.
Okay.
And usually what they would do is they would do a splash page where if they were introducing a new character, that character would be there in some kind of interpretive image, which is straight up, by the way, just them drawing the Man Who Laughs from the movie with their ideas on top of him. But that was what they would do. They'd be like, oh, I'm the Joker, bitch, and I'm going to be in the book. Ho, 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 ho. And then you'd read the book. The first page would just be like, here's the premise. Hope you're in for it. Like, the first appearance of Penguin. Penguin's there, but there's also an effing gigantic penguin that's just like in a street.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like, here comes the penguin.
It's the Emperor Penguin.
Yeah, but like, why? And then it's so that you draw the connection between the dude who looks like a aristocrat and a penguin. That's it.
The end.
The end. Those are all the parallels. And by the way, that character was also just ripped off from a cigarette ad of a penguin smoking cigarettes. And they were like, guy, got another one. So there's this old guy sitting in his chair. He's listening to the radio. It's 1940s, so like, what else are you going to do? Not talk to your wife, just listen to the radio. And the radio gets a...
Oh, this is business.
Right, exactly. And then the broadcast is broken into, and there's this voice on the radio, and it's Joker, but they don't know that at the time. And they're like, Henry Claridge the millionaire is going to die at 10. And the old guy's like, I know Henry Claridge. What nonsense is this? Perhaps it's some kind of spoof or a joke, like that Mars broadcast from not too long ago. It's like, ripped right from the headlines.
All right. Very fresh.
I know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. War of the Worlds? Cool. And then I remember being like, wait, did that happen in the friggin' 30s? Yup.
Yeah.
Then the radio breaks in and they're like, no, it's legit. That was a real thing that happened. It was not a joke.
Yeah.
Henry Claridge is probably going to die at 10 o'clock. And so then we go to Henry Claridge's house, and he's like, "What the hell's happening?" And the cops are already there because
Why did the radio box say I was going to die?
I don't know, but it sounds like you better listen to it.
We all heard it, though.
We all heard it.
It's basically magic, so yeah, it's probably going to happen.
The little man in the box told us all where you're going to die.
He's never wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So the cops are there, and they're like, "All right, calm down." I believe also that Claridge owns a special diamond because Joker is like a magpie and loves shiny things.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Joker loves diamonds and rubies because, like, again, and I have to chalk it up to Bill Finger because Bill Finger was always like, it's never just one thing. It can't ever just be like, there's a effing clown man in our effing city,
Right.
and he is murdering
That's
wealthy
messed up.
people, and that's it. And he likes to announce that he's going to do it before he does it. That's pretty scary and messed up. Sure, but no. Also, I love my pretties. I love the rubies and the diamonds, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, there has to be a motivation.
Why did he do it?
Right, why? Because he's insane!
No, apparently a
No.
long time ago he was a thief.
Right. They don't even explain his origins. They just go, he likes diamonds. And
Well,
rubies, though.
And why would someone just randomly kill people for no reason? That'd
Exactly.
be monstrous.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he
I'm
should
not
also
writing
like
that.
that
That's
kind of
for fame.
nihilistic idea is not something that I signed up for here.
You should also enjoy emeralds, because then it's his skin, his lips, and his hair.
I love that. That's actually more thought than goes into this. So, Claridge is like, I don't want to lose my diamond and my life. And the cop's like, look, we're here. All right?
All right, what's going to happen?
There's like 10 of us in here. And so then like the grandfather clock in his estate rings 10 and he's like, oh, I made it. Ha 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 ha. And then he dies. And his face rigor mortis is into a horrible grimace.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That is horrible.
And they're like, duh!
Wow.
That is awful! The Joker's move is when he kills you, you are left
You
with a
will
horrible smile.
Yeah.
And they're like,
wow, that was from day one.
day one, they're like, duh!
That's cool.
So
Does he have friggin' Joker toxin? Like,
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
okay.
they check the safe and they find the diamond's right there. Like, no, it's not. It's glass. The Joker is already struck. How did they do it? So the Joker's in his crazy lair, which is also like homage, by the way, in 3 Jokers, because this is of course like
Right.
the criminal.
Right.
But that's out of canon, so who cares? And everyone's forgotten about it. But he's sitting there and he's frowning and he's just sitting in his like elaborate smiling office and he's like, they're probably wondering how I did it. Yeah, pretty great. But the reality is what happened is I went to his place and I poisoned him with a 24-hour serum that would kill him
in exactly
24 hours. And I stole the gem as well.
How did you disguise yourself?
We don't even bother about that. And we're all
I
better for it.
snuck in.
Well, we'll see how he actually does it because
Oh,
there's
okay.
not how he did this one, but how he does the next 3.
Okay.
Because that's what this whole book is, which is, by the way, harrowing as a child. Like, if you're a kid like me and you were reading this as a small child, it's kind of scary. The idea that there's, like, this clown man that goes on the radio and he's like, hey, in, like, 10 hours, someone's gonna die. And then that guy is like, ah! And everyone who's supposed to protect you is around you. And then you're like, oh, I didn't die. And then they die.
Yeah.
Because
that
it was
is
already
scary.
too late, because it already happened.
Yeah. Ugh.
So hang on a second. He steals the diamond, and then he's like, but I'm also gonna kill you. I already got the diamond.
Yeah. Well, because
Like, killing him is like not part of the theft. It's just a thing he
it's a
also
thing he
does.
also does on top of it. I murder people and I steal their gems.
But why put a replacement in if they can tell right away, oh, it's glass?
I don't know. I guess to fool the millionaire.
Right. He was like, I better check my diamonds. Oh,
Oh,
it's
good,
still
it's
there.
still there. All right. I mean, again,
So
we're
that
putting way
people
more
wouldn't
thought
go
into
looking for it before he died.
Right. So then the next night, another radio broadcast, another socialite, another thing that he owns that's shiny is going to be stolen and he's going to die. And this
is it
time,
this time?
What kind of gem is it? It's a ruby. And
Okay, so it's a gem. Got
yes. And so
This is like terrorism.
yeah, it's completely. Oh no, it's really scary, and I can imagine like this is a cool motif that you're going to apply to Gotham from now on, which is that these criminals show up and they make large proclamations over public broadcasting to let everyone know that they are unsafe.
Yeah.
And so, like, this guy is already like, he knows about Claridge, so he's like, I'm definitely gonna die! The cops are like, you're gonna be fine. He's like, they were all here too! You all saw him die, like, literally yesterday! And then,
Yeah, but that was a one-off.
and then it turns to 10, and he dies! And they're like, ah, geez. And then,
lost another
Maybe we
one.
should have brought him to a hospital.
right, and then a gas fills the room, and
Oh.
all the cops fall unconscious, and the coat of arms that the wealthy socialite had in his house comes to life because Joker put himself into it earlier in the day.
And he
he's
just sat there?
He just stood there like a lunatic, just waiting. Oh man, here we go. And so what happened is he didn't just do the same thing as before. This time, he shot him with a blow dart full of poison.
Oh.
Like he went... and then filled the room with gas and knocked out the cops. Because he's like, well, I only said I was going to kill him. So
right, I didn't say I was going
to
kill those cops, so I can't kill them.
No.
That would be off-brand.
Exactly. Like, what? Very much in Joker's brand now is like, I kill literally everyone. If you met me, you die.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but then it was like, only ones I specify die, everyone else is fine.
Otherwise, how do you become like a myth?
Right.
You don't make a specific proclamation and then make good on it.
Right. And if it was just random, it wouldn't be as scary.
Exactly.
It's like, well, anybody could die anytime
Anybody can be
anyway.
a psycho. Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe he's wearing the suit of armor.
He's like, oh.
I'm going to get him.
Ching, 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 ching.
Yeah.
And then he takes it all off and then goes like, well, gentlemen, I bid you adieu. And like everyone's asleep or dead. So he's like, yeah, just for me.
You don't wear the suit of armor if you knock everybody out. That's pointless.
Well, yeah, but he wanted to watch, clearly.
Yeah, he wanted to be in the room when it happened.
You could be in a closet.
But it's not as like crazy
But I'm not
in
in the room with them. I was right next to him, and they didn't even know.
They could hear me like shallowly breathing, and they were like, what is that? Is that the air conditioner's room?
Feels like there's someone in the room with us, but...
Clink, 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 clink.
Right? His boner keeps hitting the armor, like, as he gets like intermittently aroused, like, ting, what is that? You have like another clock in here or something?
Or it's probably nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, this was not in the book, I'm sure. But I want to imagine that he's, after the first one, he's like, that was great when I killed that guy, but I didn't get to see it. Okay, next time I'm gonna be in the room. It's like escalating.
Yeah, exactly. This story is starting to permeate into like the outer world of Gotham, and you're like, oh, okay, we're gonna check in with like the Gotham citizenry, going like, what am I gonna do? What if he cares about somebody that isn't owning some kind of emerald? I'm gonna get rid of liquidate your gems. But instead we go into like a criminal element, like a bar full of criminals. And they're all like, man, Joker's making us all look like jerks because he is committing elaborate crimes under the nose of the cops, and he's stealing all these wealthy things. Like, let's screw him up. So then local street tough / criminal Brute Nelson is like, I know, circulate around the general lowlives that Brute Nelson is gonna mess up the Joker. And then he'll come for me, and then I'll mess him up. Like, and it's like, that's not a rumor. You're just tell him to come to your house. Just invite him over.
No. It's got to be an elaborate thing. Yeah. We got to involve a lot of people.
Yes.
Brute, you should say it on the radio.
Yeah, right? Hey, this is Brute Nelson. I just want to let everybody know. You know me. Yeah, I'm a Lola. I'm like the Leroy Brown of Gotham City. And it's like, what?
I'm just saying, I'm going to beat up the Joker. The Joker will be like, it's on the radio. It's coming through.
I'm going to beat him up at 10 o'clock. Oh, shit. So Brute Nelson goes ahead and he like.
Can you imagine if somebody told you, "Hey man, Brute Nelson is gonna beat the shit out of you." Oh no, Brute Nelson! Oh no,
I don't know
a real guy is definitely going to hurt me.
Yeah, watch out.
He's a brute.
Yeah, you know it from the name. That is definitely not a given name. So then Robin, because Robin's already been introduced.
Oh yeah.
He's like talking to Batman. Bruce Wayne's putting his costume on. He goes, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh, I heard that I heard Brute Nelson is gonna mess up the Joker. I want to see this.
I want to watch it."
Yeah. So Brute Nelson's at his house.
You know where he lives?
Well, yeah. Like that's his.
Everyone knows where Brute Nelson lives.
Right. Oh, I looked him up in the phone
on the wrong
book.
side of town.
On the other side of the railroad tracks. So Brute Nelson's like, all right, well, the Joker's gotta have gotten the message by now. And then Joker like jumps through the window and he's like, oh, it's me. I'm gonna kill you. And Brute Nelson's like, oh, okay. And then everyone from the bar comes out of like different rooms in Brute Nelson's house and like, great, you showed up, you idiot. Now we're gonna kill you. Because we're criminals. And then Batman is sneaking around upstairs, and they're like, what the hell's that? And Batman's like, oh shit, I guess I wasn't as quiet as I thought I was. And they're like, they turn their attention to Batman, so Batman just hurls his bigness down the stairs onto all of them.
Nice.
Like early James Bond. Like, you
Right.
ever watch like Bond, yeah, I'm the slick motherfucker. But then you watch Sean Connery, I watched him jump on a man's back to death.
Yeah.
Just jump on. Like, that's not slick.
Just hit him until he's dead.
I don't have to be slick. Sometimes brute force is the way to go.
Right,
Well, it's
all
like
that matters is
nobody can like silently kill like 30 people
No,
without
exactly.
them like being able to stop him. Like
Yeah.
he would be overwhelmed. You know? No, in real life, you're just gonna kill him. Just grab him. One guy at a time.
Exactly. So
That's all you can do.
I'm 240 pounds. I just hurl myself down the stairs. So that works out, and he's beating the hell out of them.
Wasn't there the Batman comic where he like drops the chimney on all those cops in the freaking abandoned warehouse?
Yeah, in year one.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Batman will take any port in a storm. That's true. So I mean, as evidenced in a book from 80 years ago. So while Batman's beating up Brute Nelson's people, Joker's like, I would do something kind of fun and elaborate, like with poison, but I guess I'll just shoot you. So he shoots Brute Nelson. And then he leaves.
Why is Batman interrupting?
Right. Well, because Batman's like, nobody dies on my watch. I don't know.
Except for unless I'm doing the killing.
Right, unless I knock you into a vat of acid. Then you're...
Look, we can't just let criminals do
whatever they want.
Just like murder each other.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be chaos.
Yeah, that'd be chaos. Like it is
I'm not gonna allow an unfair fight here.
Yeah. Okay.
Those men, they're gonna team up and jump that one guy. That's not fair.
It's like, what? But you're protecting them from him. So Joker leaves.
What am I here for? I don't.
Oh shit!
I'm starting to lose track of. Is it the Joker or is it Brute Nelson?
Right, and then Brute Nelson dies, so it's like, well, now I got to beat up the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker was announcing he was going to kill people, but now Brute Nelson's announcing he's going to kill the Joker. So that maybe he's worse than the Joker.
Right.
He's going to kill the Joker.
It's two birds, one stone. It's like, well, they're all going to be in one place, then I can beat up both of them or kill them. And
take whatever diamonds and rubies are in this place.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget that.
Exactly.
So Joker kills Brute Nelson and jumps out the window.
He just
and runs
shoots him
to
with
his
a
car.
gun.
Yeah, he just blam. Sorry. They're not all gonna be winners.
Was that his good plan when he showed up? He's like, I'm gonna show up and I'm just gonna shoot Brute Nelson.
No. He says like normally I would use the whole thing and you'd have a smile and stuff, but like I gotta leave. You know, because Batman's here and there's a lot of guys.
I can't coat my bullets in my poison.
Exactly. So I just gotta shoot you. Bye.
Does the Joker acknowledge that Brute Nelson screwed up his plan by bringing like more than one person? Was he like, oh shit, he brought like 8 people?
No.
Or was he like, no, I knew he would do that?
There's no time. We don't bother with. There's no moment of Joker noticing how.
So the Joker's not in control.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, Joker's not a master schemer.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand, like, who is this Joker? Does he show up because he's an idiot? Yeah. Or does he show up because there's a master plan?
He showed up because he was challenged.
He's already killed 2 people. He's just like, I'm not going to let this guy call me out.
Yeah, whoa. I'm doing a thing here. I'm killing millionaires and stealing their shiny jewels, and then Brute Nelson's going to throw a monkey wrench into my whole operation.
I don't think so. I'm going right down there.
Exactly. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to tell him. Oh crap, Batman's here, blam, goodbye. So then he jumps into his Studebaker, and then Batman like runs after him, jumps on the car, then derails the car off a bridge and pulls Joker with him back to the street, and they fight, and Joker essentially like gets one up on Batman and just punches him and kicks him in the head and knocks Batman into the river.
Jeez.
And then Batman's like, that was rough. That guy kicked me in the head.
Now I know what it's like.
Right, he's talking to Dick later.
Thank God this wasn't a vat of acid.
Exactly. Which is how more than a few of my villains do die. Usually from plummeting, but sometimes into a vat of acid. Ironically, Joker will be one of them. But not now, before he became the Joker, because that's right, the Joker that's invented here is also technically going to be retconned later in the story after they've already introduced the Red Hood. Because the Red Hood origin of Joker is also canon to the Golden Age Joker. So it's like, oh yeah, we've met before, asshole, and like that's why I hate you so much. But also, I'm kicking your head now because I'm new. And so Batman's like, you kicked me in the head, Robin. Oh my god, this was messed up. And so they're like, well, I guess we gotta wait around, just hang out. And so then there's another announcement about another guy that's gonna get killed in a couple of hours. And so the police chief goes to that guy's house, and that guy is like, oh, geez, it's coming. Here we go. He's like, hey, calm down. It's going to be fine. Why don't you sit down and we'll play some cards. And so they play cards for a little while, and this is the scariest moment for me as a kid. This is the moment that will never leave my mind for as long as I will live. But they're sitting there in the plane, and the old guy is like, oh, I only need the ace of spades to win the game. And the police chief goes, but you've already lost, you see, because I have the winning hand. And he smiles, and he's the Joker, and he's holding up the Joker. And he's like, duh!
Did he...
Like, yes, and then the text will explain that the Joker's also a master of disguise.
Oh.
And so he's like, yeah, and then he just like jabs him with a needle and makes him die and do the smile thing.
Wow.
And you're just like, oh. It's like, I don't have time for like the whole coat of arms thing or the
Right.
4 hours earlier.
Well, I could also just like look like a police officer.
Yeah, or I could just come in here and just kill you. Maybe that gave him an idea, and maybe dealing with Brute like inspired him. Like, I could just be in the room and just get you.
I'd love it if he was able to change his face and not smile like a crazy person. It looks normal.
Oh, he does. No, when he's like sitting alone in his room, he's frowning. Like he's smiling. He smiles when he wants to. The only people who can't help themselves but smile are the corpses that he makes.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not doing to them what happened to me.
Yeah, so he kills
I'm
this
fine.
dude. Yeah, I'm good. So
I just do this when I kill people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just thrilled. So he kills this guy with his serum, and then he walks out the door and goes like, well, anyway, I'm gonna head out. The Joker killed that guy. Goodbye. And the cop's like, what? And then he leaves. Well, we couldn't help it.
I tried to save him. I couldn't save him.
Yeah, well, the Joker got him. Must have done one of his whole things. And
It was like the other times where he was already dead.
right, and the cop's like, well, that tracks.
Yep.
See you later.
Oh well, can't win them all.
Yep.
Kind of weird how you want to be in there alone with them.
Right. But so in this case, Batman sent his 12-year-old sidekick to monitor that house. And so when Joker, as the police chief, gets into his car, Robin follows the car to a dilapidated house out in the middle of nowhere.
Which looks very familiar.
From Three Jokers.
Yeah,
Someone's
yeah.
like, what the hell?
What is happening?
Like Jeff Johns really focused on this story for his
Really
Three
did
Jokers.
research.
Yeah.
Good thing it's not in canon. So Robin goes into the creepy house, and then Joker just waylays him with like a baton. And then Batman is like, oh, geez, my 12-year-old sidekick isn't around. What the hell? So then he takes out a special flashlight that illuminates Robin's footprints only. And let's say that he put some kind of phosphorus on the bottom of Robin's booties, whatever. But he follows the tracks all the way to Joker's hideout.
No, it's a Geiger counter. I'm
Yeah,
following
I put a
the
little
radiation.
lightly irradiated booties. So Joker has tied up Robin. He's going to inject him with the same serum, and he's got the syringe like right there.
Oh wow.
And Batman throws himself through the window and then saves Robin, punches Joker, knocks him into a bunch of chemicals, which fill the room with chemicals, like with a kind of like haze, and that distracts everyone and causes a fire.
And also, then, like, gives them third-degree burns in their lungs.
Yeah, well, even before everyone starts dying of exposure, Joker then gets Batman with the same chemical. So Batman gets the grin, and he's like, bruh. But thankfully, because Batman is just really tough, he gets over it immediately.
No one else will.
No.
Right.
That would kill. Maybe that's why Joker only chooses targets that are in their 80s or something. Like, because it really only works on people who have frail immune systems.
Right.
But with a man in his, like,
just the
20s.
flu.
Yeah. Yeah. So Batman just immediately, like, you see it, and it's like the last panel of that page is, and Batman's mouth, turns into a grimace, and you're like, oh, geez, what? And then, but thankfully Batman's really tough, and so he's fine. And then he gets Robin, and he leaves, and then Batman and Robin, like, go off, and they chase after Joker again, and they find him on, like, some overpass, and then Joker just shoots Batman in the chest 3 times, and Batman's like, Jesus, has this guy never heard of bulletproof vests? And I'm like, have you? Because that would break all of Batman's ribs, and probably kill him.
Yeah, he'd be laid out.
Oh yeah, he is what, 4 feet, and then waits for Joker to run out of bullets, then whip his own gun at Batman. Whereupon, he tries to escape. He like jumps away from Batman, and then when he gets to the other side of the construction site, Robin's there waiting for him, and then Robin hits Joker like
in the back of the head with a crowbar.
Yeah, exactly. And then Joker's like, next time. And then, ironically, it'll be a different kid.
Joker remembers you did that.
Yeah, it's like, whoop.
Yeah, the text
what?
appears above.
Jason Todd's like, why?
That wasn't me!
You're all the same. So then...
you look like him, though.
So Robin kicks Joker off of the high point of a building.
Oh.
And Joker plummets, and then Batman reaches out of a window from within the building and catches Joker, and then punches him in the face, and then he goes to jail.
Oh.
And Batman and Robin are like, well, all's well that ends well. What a crazy asshole that guy was.
Thus the beginning of my not gonna let people die phase.
Yeah, except for the next story, which is in this book where that happens, but then they changed it. Like, Batman didn't save him. He didn't go like, oh no, Joker, not on my watch. It was just like, oh, he stabbed himself. That's, I guess, less gruesome than some other deaths that are partially my fault. And then they're like, he's okay, folks. It's gonna be fine. Get ready for more Joker.
It's like someone was like, hey guys, maybe you shouldn't kill the villains. because you
these are
might
hard
need
to
them
write.
later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, we'll kill him in issue 2.
No, it's the same issue. It's just
it's the same issue?
A couple of other stories happen in the same damn volume.
Between the same.
Yeah. No, it's like Finger was like, yeah, okay, we won't kill him in the first part.
Right.
But in the second one, he definitely's got to go.
Before the end of the book you're reading, he will be dead.
He will be dead though.
But first,
No, my
a
audience
random
really
other
expects-
adventure.
Yeah, which doesn't star Batman. Just some
Right.
random shit. So that's the origin of the Joker. It's the first story of the Joker, which is kind of, it's insane.
It's weird.
It's kind of fun, and I get where it's coming from, and I appreciate the homages and references. There is a kind of mature element to it, but also clearly it's childish. But it's not as childish as like when they introduced Alfred in a book called Here Comes Alfred, where he's just some British guy, and he meets Batman and Robin, and he was like, I need to work for you because I owe you a debt, like all butlers do. And Batman and Robin are like, sure, meet me at my house, bye. And they're like, what an asshole. And then he shows up at Wayne Manor. He's like, yeah, I deduced that you're Bruce Wayne, and so I'm here now to repay my debt. And they're like, ah, shit. And you're like,
A real
what?
good butler would know.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell? What the hell?
That sucks.
I hate Alfred.
That's actually every butler audition hire.
Oh yeah, no. You gotta find me first. If you can catch me, then you can buttle for me. Like a kind of leprechaun-esque lore. But yeah, Alfred also, he's fat and he has like a Sherlock Holmesian helmet and pipe. You're like, what the fuck?
This guy sucks.
This sucks. This sucks on toast.
Good thing they got rid of all of it.
Yeah, I'm so thankful they threw that away. I remember people actually arguing, like creators back in the day being like, we're gonna bring back Fat Alfred. And I'm like, if you do one thing, not that.
Right.
So, okay, they introduced the Joker, you're like, all right, well, that was insane, and I guess I get where it's coming from, but how about we jump ahead, 33 years, and do Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil's epic Joker story, which, by the way, I love this cover. This cover has been a poster. I've always loved it, and I've always been intrigued by it. It's in another one of my classic Batman books. I don't know if it's in this one. I know that... No. This story is not in Batman 30s to the 70s because the 70s stories they do choose to print in this book are like, what? Like one of them is the Ra's al Ghul story with the scorpion in the desert, which is awesome. But there's another one about like ghosts. And it's like, it looks amazing because Neil Adams drew it, but like, what? Like ghosts? It's like this kind of weird gothic horror
Yeah,
story.
sometimes they're ghosts.
Sometimes Batman's gonna fight ghosts.
Well, didn't comics go like...
You're more supernatural.
Yeah, at a certain point, they're like, supernatural stuff is what sells. We gotta get that into all the comics. If you want to tell your superhero stories, you're gonna have to get some either Western shit
Right.
or
romance
or mystery or ghosts.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is the 60s had a big influence on psychedelics.
Big time. So Batman, Joker's... Oh, God.
I just want to revisit. You said Catwoman would show up in the first.
Oh, well, this
Joker
book
story.
only collects the story of the first appearance of the Joker. It doesn't collect the issue
right,
Batman
the issue,
number 1.
Yeah, but she was in a separate story within that issue.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
In which she dresses as old people like a cat burglar.
Right. Yeah, she wasn't like... No, not literally a cat person. That's insane.
Right. Well, sometimes she'll wear like a big, ugly cat mask. Mm-hmm. And then
It's horrible.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
I hated it. I hate it.
I hate it. It's awful.
And what you're holding is a facsimile edition, which reprints everything, including the ads from the book that appeared on the stands back in the day. So the Joker's 5-point. So I keep wanting to call it the Joker's 5-point revenge. Like,
Yeah,
in order,
it's the
It's 5-point plan
well,
for
in order
revenge.
to achieve revenge, you need to follow my 5 points.
I thought it was like
this
5
was in the
points, like 5
90s.
boroughs.
It would
Yeah. No, it's
No,
this.
I'm gonna get revenge on you in 5 very different ways.
That would make sense,
Way
too.
number 1.
Yeah, no, it's Joker has escaped from jail, or rather a mental hospital, and he had a crew of guys, and there were 5 of them, and he blames one of them for having turned on him and made him arrested.
I just don't know which one, so I'm gonna go around and kill all of them.
And that's the book.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
All right.
So,
And Batman has to save them.
yeah, well, Batman tries to save them.
Right.
And, well, just here's a book highlighting the ineffectualness of Batman.
But that's perfect.
Yeah.
The story you told before is the perfect segue into this because it's the exact same thing.
It's the same damn thing. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
30 years later, let's like homage the first appearance of the Joker by watching Joker announce that he's going to kill somebody and then do it, and Batman failed to do it.
Can't stop it.
Yeah. Commissioner Gordon finds a body. He's with some guys. He's wondering about like running into Batman and getting his opinion on this. Batman has been standing there the whole time under an umbrella and goes, "It's me!" And Commissioner Gordon's like, "Why? First of all, why scare me like that,
But
asshole?
why would you do that?
Why do that?" And he's like,
First off, I'm making sure your arteries aren't clogged.
exactly, I'm taking care of you.
Second off, like the cowl only does so much. I have to stand on an umbrella. It's raining outside.
Yes, chilly and rainy. So he's like, "No, I wanted to be able to examine the crime scene before like anyone else got here. Like I wanted to get there early." And it's like, okay, you could just do that
Before your
We
people
have-
mess it up.
Yeah. And you're like, all right, Batman, that's hilarious.
Fine.
But he's like, yeah, it's Joker. And they're like, yeah, the corpse is smiling. He's like, I also found this card earlier. And they're like, all right, well, that really seals the deal. Thank you, Batman.
Also, a spray paint on the wall said Joker did it.
Right, I did it. So Batman muses to himself, like, I know Joker escaped, and I didn't know, because like there's a city of 8 million people, like where he would be until he killed someone. So I just had to wait until like a corpse arrived.
Right.
And so here it is. And now I know who that corpse is, and I know the whole 5-point revenge. So I'm like, I'm ready to go. So he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll just start with like the next guy on my list. Arbitrarily, it is a former light featherweight boxing guy. He's like an old former boxer who worked on Joker's crew. And so Batman shows up at his like old crappy gym, and the dude is kind of like just practicing. He's hitting the bag, and Batman's like, "Hey, you used to work for the Joker. He's back, and he blames everybody, so he's gonna kill you." And the guy's like, "Oh, okay." And so Batman and he like have this little weird back and forth where he's like, "Oh, you want to help me spar? And so you hold the bag." And Batman's like, "Sure thing." And so Batman holds the bag, and the guy keeps punching Batman. He's like, "Oh, I missed." And Batman's like, "That's fine." And so eventually it becomes a fight.
Because you're like 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't really feel it. But they have a little sparring match that starts out innocently enough, but then becomes like the guy is attacking Batman. And Batman's like, yeah, look, dude, like, just stop. And so eventually
You're not going to get one up on
he
me.
punches him.
Yeah.
And he's like, now we're going to take you to police custody. It'll be temporary, but it'll protect you. And he's like, fair enough. That sucked, being punched by you. And he even compliments him by being like, man, like you picked the wrong vocation. Like you should have been a boxer, man. Like you could really punch up with the rest of them. And it's like, okay. And he's like, well, let me just take a quick sip of water and get the taste of your knuckles out of my mouth. You know, in that like boxer's ring cup thing you'll see. And of course it's been poisoned by the Joker and he dies.
Yeah. And Batman's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just drink from that random thing that I haven't been watching or paying attention to.
Exactly. I just got
When
here.
the Joker's definitely targeting you.
Yes.
I mean, the Joker could have poisoned his laundry detergent.
Yep. That's true.
I know, but
It's
Batman...
in my boxing gloves. Oh no!
Yeah. So he dies, and he's like, damn it! And he like kicks the bucket.
Yeah, that bucket of water is very strange. It reminds me of the Old West.
Yes. Yeah, just, reach your ladle on in there and have a sip.
Yeah.
I've been working on the
I feel
railroad.
like, I mean, I know this is a thing that like is in boxing rings because I've seen movies with boxers from the 70s called Rocky. But also I know that Neil Adams is drawing from real life. Like this is a man
well, they
that
don't have
really
running water in that gym.
Probably. It's
Yeah.
shitty. And so he's like, I filled this up on my way here.
Yep.
And I got the ladle and I, you know.
Well, they fill it up, but they also, like, every once in a while, they have to, like, wipe off their brow. They throw that into the bucket.
Oh.
The loser has to drink the bucket.
Yes, that is canon. So then we go to a hotel where Joker already is with the second or third guy.
Yeah.
Is that how you spell cozy?
No.
Okay.
Spell with a Z.
Thank you.
They put it S. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
that just broke my brain for a
it's not
second.
cozy. That's my last name.
Yeah, that's Cozy's Hotel.
Yeah.
So Joker's like, listen, Albie, I need to know, like, were you the one who betrayed me? And he's like, no, man, it wasn't me. He's like, okay, well, let's have a cigar to celebrate. And he's like, okay. And he takes a cigar. And he's like, oh, let me guess, you're the Joker. Like, is this one of those exploding cigars? Well, you know what? Like, I understand I'm part of your crew. You're the Joker. What's a little exploding cigar between friends? And Joker leaves, and it explodes, like, with nitroglycerin. And, like, the whole apartment, it just goes up in flames.
Yikes. Does the guy realize he's gonna die?
Nope. He's like, maybe he's deluding himself. Like, he's like, yeah, because he looks a
Oh,
little
what is it
nervous.
exploding?
What is an exploding cigar, Joker? It's not like laced with strychnine and it's just gonna poison my lungs. It's like he doesn't say any of those things. It's
Right.
like,
No, I'm giving you jaw cancer. It's going to be slow and painful.
right. It's,
You're a dead
You'll
man.
rue
yeah,
the day
this is
that
a
you
cigar
ever
from
put
your
one in your mouth.
box. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just explodes and dies, and Joker's like, "Nip," and Batman's like, "Damn it!"
3 down. Wow, this is going really fast.
Yeah, exactly. This is why we didn't do this alone. So then we go to Bigger Melvin. another one of Joker's crew.
Okay.
Is there a smaller Melvin?
Yeah, I presume. Because I don't think that Bigger is his Christian name. So Bigger Melvin sees that Batman's on his way, and he's like, ah, crap. He must have figured out that I mugged someone in an unrelated incident, and he's here to kick my ass. So then Batman's like, Bigger, stop! And he's like, ah, good luck with that. Like, Batman can kick my ass, and he's faster than me, but he doesn't know this area as well as I do, so I'll avoid him. And he does this whole intricate escape route where he like goes through some boxes, he goes under the docks, he goes into the sewer, he pops out a mile underneath in the streets, and Batman's like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
And he goes, listen, Joker wants to kill everyone in his crew. I'm here to put you into protective custody. And he's like, okay, well, can I go back to my apartment and get my toothbrush? And Batman goes, a reasonable request, lead on. And he goes, okay, well, listen, why don't you go ahead of me to make sure Joker's in there? And he says, another reasonable request.
That's a good idea.
And then so Bigger hits him in the head with a blackjack. And Batman goes down and he's like, what an asshole. Like, I would believe that Joker thing. And so he goes into his apartment and Joker is clearly in his closet and he's just dead. And clearly what happened was Joker hanged him.
Oh.
Like, it's so gruesome. I love the idea of him just going like, let me just grab a couple of things that I said I was going to grab with Batman, but actually I'm going to leave, town. And Joker just emerges from the closet.
Yep.
And we don't see what happens to Bigger. We just see that he's dead and his feet are swaying in between other panels. And you're like, yeah, all right, Joker, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. All right, you're pretty scary, Joker.
You know what's scarier? Is the fact that Joker convinced him to hang himself.
Yeah.
Just like, look, I could kill you right now.
Right.
Or you could take the easy way out.
Right, exactly.
That's not easy. That's a terrible way to die.
Terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible.
It's worse
Not
than
as terrible as
Joker.
what I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
Not as bad as the Joker toxin, huh?
I should also point out that this book is also choked with Neil Adams' iconic Batman imagery. Like, it's Neil Adams at the top of his game. Like, Joker looks like Joker. Like, he is an iconic, great image of Joker. The cover alone is like, I love that it's an ace. Like, wouldn't it be a Joker? Like, okay, but it's dope. But every image of Batman, there's a moment of Batman like running, and he's running like it's just part of the story. But Neil Adams is like, oh, let me just draw one of the most iconic images of Batman that will ever exist, as just a full page splash of Batman running.
Oh, I thought you meant Batman crawling on the floor after being blackjacked.
I do remember this image from other things, so I'm like, yeah. But Batman's like, oh my god, like it's like my brain's just scrambled. It hurts so bad that I got blackjacked by that guy. And so he goes in there and he's like, oh, what an idiot. Joker beat me to me.
I didn't realize it was a blackjack at first. I thought the guy took off his shoe and hit Batman in the head with
Meh. Now, Bigger is a lousy guy. He has one of these things for, muggings and whatnot.
Right.
So Batman comes in and he's like, oh man, I missed it again. And Joker's still there.
Oh.
And he's like, hey, and he punches him in the back of the head. And Batman goes down. Joker kicks him in the face. And he's just down. And Joker's like, oh my god, I beat him. Like, thank goodness.
I can't believe that worked.
I can't believe that worked. Like, and then he realized like Bigger got him before, so he's already like concussed. And he's like, I did want to beat Batman, but not like this. Like, I want to beat Batman because I beat him, not because I'm like cashing in on what some lowlife that I already killed did.
Right. So
That
the opposite
sucks.
of Bane.
Yes.
He's like, let me wear him
you
down.
with my betters.
Yeah.
And then I'll show up and do the coup d'etat.
Missed opportunity to hang him upside down by his feet like a bat.
That's true. Well, I already hung one person. That's repeating the joke. So he leaves, and Batman's like, oh my god. He even says, brother, people are making a habit of using my head for a bongo drum. And I'm like,
I am bad at this.
I am bad at this. What is the matter with me? I need a crisis to like reboot me hard.
Yeah, that's that face right there.
In about 10 years.
Man.
Yeah, Batman just gripping the wheel like, I need to stop. I really could just stop. Like, no one's asking for Batman.
I can just retire.
So,
I have enough money.
But is he tired?
Right, is he just weary?
Just really tired?
No. He's tired from having been given a skull fracture.
Oh, okay. It's not a thing happening in Batman right now.
So he's like, the last guy that I need to get is named Bing Hooley. I love all these names. And he's like, Bing Hooley is old. He's just old. And it's like, you can't kill him. He's just old.
Come on, man.
He's too old.
Yeah, it's too old.
Too old
He is
to
too
be
old
killed.
to be
But he's
killed.
like, oh man. So he goes to like a home where Hooley's holed up. And it's run by sisters, like nuns.
Yeah.
So he's talking to this nun about Hooley. She's like, I'm afraid that he was already checked out by his dear friend. He's like, oh, it's so nice of Mr. Genesius to take care of the elderly. And he's like, you're an idiot. He's like, Saint Genesius was the patron saint of jokers, you dumb bitch.
Learn this shit.
Any first-year sister in a habit should know this crap. Like, God, he just leaves. Like, so stupid. Damn it.
Also, he had green hair. I mean, come on.
Come on. So he walks out, and he's just like, all right, well, if I'm going to have to find Julio.
She's going to leave the service.
She's like, I'm out.
She's like, all right, that's it.
Batman shamed me.
Can't be a nut anymore.
You know what? I don't need to be yelled
God.
at by Batman. I don't need that.
I'm moving to Metropolis. The thing that tips him off is the goo that came off of Joker's shoe when he kicked him in the face that he wiped off. And he realized that, like, the goo that hit Batman in the face.
I've seen this goo.
I've seen this goo. And then we just add this. Like, this was not established. But because of the 70s, an ocean liner ran aground outside Gotham Harbor, and they haven't had a chance to clean it up yet. And so the beaches have been coated in petroleum, and Joker's foot was coated in some kind of combination of both sand and oil.
Oh.
And so he's like, well, the only way
near
that
the
could be is he's by the beach. So he goes to the beach. Clearly he's in like Wildwood because he goes down to the boardwalk and there is an aquarium at the boardwalk and he goes there and it's closed. So he breaks in and Joker's there. And he's just like, oh, you got my message of goo on my shoe that I accidentally had on there, but you figured it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get to the
But I still knew you were coming, though.
Yeah. So Joker throws a laughing grenade at Batman, and then Batman's like, that's not going to work on me because I don't
find anything funny.
Because nothing you do could be funny to me. No, he like has a chemical antidote that he like administers to himself every time he's about to fight Joker.
I prepped.
Yeah, like I always give
I gave
myself
myself
inoculation.
like 30 shots for all the crazy, insane
What
stuff
a
you might
nightmare
use.
that must be.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I don't have to do that
Sorry,
today,
that sounds
though.
awful.
I won't find anything you say funny because I've had 2 concussions already.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know where the hell I am half the time. So Joker like leads him into a big area of the aquarium where he reveals that Hooli, who's old and in a wheelchair, is strung up over a tank, and he's like, haha, I'm not going to drown him though, I'm going to feed him to a shark in this tank that was saved from the oil spill and brought into the aquarium.
I'm glad that they referenced why the shark was in there
Yeah.
because I was like, this is a closed, abandoned aquarium. There would be no animal life.
Right. No,
Right.
This is a special shark that we got from over there into here. And so he's like, if I will let Hooli live if you become my prisoner instead. And so Batman's like, okay.
He's
so
like,
then,
I want to see you fight a shark.
yes. Yes. And so Joker...
I think that would look cool.
I think that would be an awesome action sequence that they will then later use in the Batman animated series to arguably greater effect. Though this is one of the more iconic Batman-Joker fights in one of the most iconic Joker and Batman comics. But again, it's
Yeah,
like,
but
what?
Batman's notoriously famous for having shark repellent on.
It's
Right.
true.
Yeah, but his hands are bound. He can't get to a shark.
That's right. And Joker takes his utility belt.
He's like, oh no.
So Batman's
I'm not
like,
doing
I
one of
will-
those things where I throw you in the thing and you
then
have the
use
thing to
belt.
get out of it.
Nah,
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 nah.
nah.
Even though you definitely have like lock picks in your glove itself and stuff.
Right.
But Batman is like, I will permit this, but only if you answer one question, Joker. Why the shark? And
Right.
Joker says, take a look, we resemble each other. And
What?
It's
It's
true.
like, I looked at the shark and it kind of looked like it was smiling.
so that's my motivation. And then he kicks Batman into the pool. And by the way, like, I should point out how wonderful this looks. Like, I
this
am a
is
sucker
good.
for this. Like, the image of Batman being kicked in the back, like, that's what a man looks like when he's kicked in the back. Like, it's just, yeah. And you're just getting this on the regular. So he falls in the pool, and then Joker's like, and Julio go in too. And he pushes him in. And,
Yeah, I lied.
and Batman goes,
Like
I
I always
promised.
do.
And I'm like, what are you talking to Joker? Like, he's your 8th grade teacher who just said he wasn't going to give you a pop quiz. Like, what's the matter with you, man? So
How
it's
many
like,
times would that have to happen
for you to
before you just
not believe
never
him.
agreed it?
Yeah. Like, it's outrageous.
Well, this is one of the last.
Right, yeah. So
I'll tell you this, if I survive this time, that's the last.
that's the last time I buy
second
a
to
Joker.
third to last time I give Joker another chance.
Yeah. So Batman's like, all right, how the hell am I gonna do this? So he's counting the seconds of being underwater and having to hold his breath, and he knows he can't break the bonds, so he basically jumps on top of the shark and then attempts to break the shark's spine by just like riding it harder and pulling its jaw.
Oh, I thought he was gonna have the shark's like bite force break through the chain.
Yeah, and it will hopefully do that too.
Oh, but mostly
But
trying
only
to kill
after
this
he breaks
shark.
its spine and kills it.
Which, of course, he does. Because it's 1973 and sharks are not sympathetic creatures.
Yeah, sharks are monsters.
Yeah, they're scary. They're the ocean's monsters. The ocean is the child's bedroom closet of the real world. It's seemingly harmless, but in the darkest depths,
There be monsters.
There be monsters there. So, Batman's murdered this endangered species, and then he swims deeper, and he's like, all right, well, so he's like, it's been a while under here. Hoolie's probably out of air. So he gets down there, and he's like, I
You're
can't.
not out of air?
No, well, I've trained.
Oh.
And I'm young.
Oh, that's true. He's old.
Yeah, he's an old
That's
man.
fair.
So he
You're
grabs...
kidding. Julie died 3 seconds into this ordeal.
Julie had a heart attack when he landed in the water. Like, Batman, you could just jump out. You don't have to kill that shark at all. So Batman grabs his Hoolie's wheelchair and then just bashes against the glass. And of course, the tense moment because you're like, will he break the glass? Like, maybe they'll kill Batman in this issue. And then Batman, of course, breaks the glass. Hoolie and
Which
Batman...
should not break.
No. Batman and Hoolie
Nope.
spill out of there, and then he chases after the Joker, and he calls out for the Joker. He's like, dude, Joker! And Joker's like, oh, you're really mad.
That's,
But unlike
I've done it this time.
But unlike in Nightfall, where he's like, oh my god, he is pissed! In this, he's like, oh, I've seen you angry like this often. No one alive can beat you when the anger is upon you. And I'm like, the anger is upon you. Like it overtakes you. And it's like, oh, is this an Easter egg for the Batman of Zur-Anar is going to take over Batman and fight? Like, no. But I mean, like, Chip Zdarsky's like, yes. It doesn't make Batman sympathetic.
No.
That even his worst rogues recognize that Batman has like an anger management issue.
Right. Oh, you're so easy to rile up.
Right? Well, it's like, once the
I
anger is
can push your
upon you,
buttons
you
so
will
easy.
break my bones.
Yeah.
I just have to threaten your life and threaten the life of somebody else and lie to you and
Yeah.
murder other people.
It was really, you know what it was? The worst part
Really
was...
tips him over the edge.
The lying was the worst part. Joker runs away from him and leads Batman on a merry chase across the beach, where Joker has a getaway vehicle that also has special tires, balloon tires, that can coast across the sand easily. He's like, if he gets to that car, it's over. He's
Right, I'll
he's
never
gonna leave
catch
me.
him.
But
Yeah.
look at this image of Batman just trying to catch up with the Joker. And it's like, this is a poster. This is a sticker. This is a piece of art that you put on toys and like other Batman merchandise. It is not a panel in a comic book. And here it is as a panel in a comic book. Neil Adams is like, hey, guys, here's an image of Batman that people are going to look at and use, reference, and homage for the next 45 years. So Batman chases after Joker, and Joker slips on the petroleum that has polluted the beach.
Oh.
And then Batman just beats him savagely.
Batman
I've got
brings
you
the
now.
shark with him and then hits Joker with it.
And of course, like, rubs his face on the shark's sandpapery skin.
And he takes some of the oil-soaked sand and dumps it down his throat.
Yeah, choke on it, Joker. Classic Batman. So he's just like, yeah, you slipped on the beach and you're gonna slip into a cell or into a dry martini, whatever. So he's beaten on him. He goes, you're not laughing, Joker. Isn't this funny?
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, you're gonna leave that for the last two panels of the issue? And Joker goes, no.
I'm really upset.
And he's like, no, it's not funny, Batman.
please stop.
It's not funny. And he goes, no, it is funny. To think that you, my arch enemy, would make me grateful for pollution. Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Fart. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow. That book doesn't end. That book stops.
It's just,
That is a screeching halt.
yeah. I'm like, what?
What?
Like,
What was the point of all that?
it was just, well, we need another Joker story.
Joker's fucked up.
Also, I assume Hoolie's dead?
Oh, yeah. No,
No,
survived.
he's the one-
He saves 1/5
Yeah.
of the people in Joker's 5-way revenge.
Don't worry, I'm sure he'll die of
Natural causes.
ordinary,
Yeah.
2 days later.
Yeah, no, he saves the oldest one.
I like to imagine that that's why Batman's pissed. He's like,
Damn it!
I saved 1 out of 5.
And it's the one that's gonna die the
oldest
soonest.
One. Like, god damn it,
He's
Joker.
like mentally gone. He's useless.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, he has brain damage from being under the water
like
for so long.
I finally succeeded in some way, and it barely counts. Like,
It does not
fuck.
count.
Yeah.
The amount of carnage and wanton destruction that is
Yep.
in the wake of this adventure, this is a loss.
Yeah.
I'm putting this in the L column. So, I mean, again.
You saved 1 out of 5. It was in the L column anyway.
Right.
I know,
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's like-
also they're all career criminals who worked for the Joker.
True.
We don't even know who betrayed him. Damn it.
Yeah. It'd be
Yeah,
amazing.
we never got an answer to that.
No.
amazing if it was this
It doesn't
one.
matter. Who cares?
It would be awesome if it was.
No one did.
Or no, if it was this guy.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it was
like
cool.
I saved the one who he was actually trying to probably target.
Yeah,
Who
and he
actually in some way deserved it.
Yeah.
The others didn't really do anything wrong.
No.
But they were all Joker accomplices, so fuck them.
Yes. The Joker's Five-Way Revenge is a book that is meant to be looked at. You are meant to read it without any text. Like the fact there's text, it's like Stanley Ghost wrote it for them. But then if he did though, then the Joker or Batman would have said things like, "Oh no, Joker's kicking me into a vat full of sharks."
Egad!
Egad. He also would have like added things like, "Good thing that Joker doesn't know about my secret power of being able to read minds." And so I knew that Joker was going to throw Hooli in here anyway. Like, that is Stan Lee adding shit to Jack's work
Right.
every single time. This is things that are happening and carrying the story along. But again, like, and Danny O'Neill, he's a consummate Batman writer. He edited the line. He's responsible for so many things I love about Batman. And this story is like heralded as one of the greatest Batman Joker team-ups fights in the history as a character. And it's like, all right. But it is spectacular looking, and it's also like it's a trendsetter. The books never looked like this, except this book. Like this old
It does look fantastic.
looks fantastic.
If you
and
like
it's-
books where Batman like just gets the crap beat out of him, where it's like you like
He's not a
remove
super
some of
god.
the mystique
Yeah.
from
You
Batman, like this is definitely that.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is like a real guy. This is
Yeah.
a guy who's like, brother, I got hit in the head by a guy in his teens, and I may be dead. Like if I fall asleep, I'm done.
If you like a Batman story where he fails 4/5 of the time,
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
is a
what
book
this
for you.
is. Yep.
Statistically, he loses the story.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but all of them are available in various collections throughout. But I'm going to make the 30s and the 70s book the one that's available in the comments for you to buy, because this tome, this ridiculous old book that is full of nonsense like Batmite and the first team up between Superman and Batman and Batman 2 and Robin 2, Batman and Robin's alternate future sons. You're in for a ride, and it will inform so much. I implore you to give it to a child. Like, get it for a kid and go like, hey,
confuse the hell out of them.
it will
Frighten them.
it will add so much odd context for things. Like, they're gonna watch the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon from like 10 years ago and go like, oh, this is my show. This is amazing. This is exactly what I've come to expect from Batman. But yeah, unfortunately, this story is not in it, but it's out there. You can get it. I picked up a facsimile edition on eBay. You can get more everywhere. But yeah, Joker's adventures. Of course, like I also appreciate that these are like kind of grounded Joker stories. It's like Joker wants to kill people he thinks betrayed him, or kill old rich people with shiny objects. As opposed to Joker wants to metaphorically dismantle the entire Batman family to get back to the primordial method of who these characters are. Sure. And he's going to do it by cutting his own face off and then giving it to someone else. Like, okay. Or he's going to destroy Gotham 4 times in as many years. So you have it. 2 seminal Joker stories for the price of 1. We'll see you guys next week with another episode. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Keep reading. So you're looking at a BB gun ad.
This is insane.
Yeah?
Getting a Daisy BB gun is like getting a good grade. You have to work for it.
Damn right.
We want every boy to enjoy the thrill of owning a Daisy, but we want him to be ready. You see, a Daisy is a gun. It's not a toy. You have to be ready to learn marksmanship and proper gun handling. It's a big responsibility. What kind of boy is ready for his Daisy? You can tell by the way he handles other things, like schoolwork and jobs around the house. He knows how to take serious things seriously.
Okay.
He knows a gun is no laughing matter.
hope
And
not.
when he gets his Daisy, he grows up a little more.
What?
Because nothing teaches marksmanship and proper gun handling like a Daisy BB gun. You think you're that kind of boy? Talk it over with your parents. Tell them you understand the responsibility of gun ownership.
Oh my God.
And are ready to practice
They're like
it.
coaching you.
When you
can
follow
shoot,
our secret formula, you will get a gun.
you will get a gun that you can fire at neighborhood animals and children.
Send for the air rifle marksman. Mail your name and address and 25 cents to this address.
You'll be a daisy if you do.